Hey YouTubers, getting ready to do a right passenger side door check strap on a second generation 2001 Toyota RAV4, and we're going to have to go ahead and remove the panel on the door to get to the door check strap. And so anyways, before I get started, if you like the video and it really helps you out, this is going to be the this won't be the Cliff Notes version. This is going to be the Dummies version. So I'm going to walk you step by step through the whole thing. But if you like it, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, and that'll help some other people save some money. So anyways, the door check is right down there, and there are 2 bolts down inside the door. But to get to those bolts, we're going to have to remove the door panel. Okay, YouTubers, what we're going to do now is we've got to remove several pieces of trim. One right here. There's one right here. We got to get to that screw, and then there's 2 screws under this one after we remove this piece of trim. And then we're going to go ahead and remove this piece right here, the door window roll up and the lock, as well as this piece right here. And then there's 1 plastic screw right here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this right here. I've got a trim tool, and you can use a very thin flathead screwdriver. If you're worried about scratches, go ahead and put some maybe some duct tape or something like that on there. But what I'm going to do on this piece right here, you may or may not be able to do it on your vehicle, but I can get my thumb in there. Once I get my thumb in there, I'm going to go ahead and work this around, and you're going to push right on there, and there's a tab back there that you're trying to push away, and then once you push that tab away, then it will go ahead and pop up. So what I did on this is I held the screwdriver under there, made a little space, and then I pushed this tool underneath here. But you can also use a bigger flathead screwdriver over here as well. And there it is, popped up right there. And I'll go ahead and turn it around. I don't know if you can see it, but there's I'll give you a close-up view after I get done. On this one, there's 2 electrical connectors, and there's like a little push tab right there, and let's see, and then there's 1 up front here. And I'm going to go ahead and push on the tab, and then there's I'm going to use the screwdriver on this one, the flathead screwdriver. I'm going to push on the tab, and then I'm going to go ahead and just gently, oh, that one came right out. I didn't even have to use the screwdriver. And then right here, there's a little bit of a tab. I'll get zoom-in views for you so you can see what I'm doing. And there it came right there. And I'm going to do a zoom-in view over here so you can see what's going on. I don't know if you can see it right there, but there's a tab, and this is what you're pushing in on right there with your screwdriver or your trim tool. And what you're doing is you're pushing that back and lifting at the same time. So you're imagine it's still in there, you're pushing and then lifting just gently, not super hard, and while you're pushing on that tab, and then it goes ahead and pops up. If you look right here, you can see a tab, and that's what you're pushing on right there. You're pushing on that, trying to get that in as far as you can. Sometimes they stick really badly, but this one, you just push in on that tab, and then you pull apart on the other piece, and that will help it to release. Okay, the other tab is right here. You're going to push on that, and I don't know if you can see it, but that little part right there is going to move, and so you're pushing on that, and then that will release, and then you'll just gently pull on the other side, and so to separate the 2. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and remove this piece of trim right here. And so the key is you got to get underneath here with oh, there it is. I got in there with the screwdriver, and now you're just going to gently pry out. There it comes. and then just gently walk it all the rest of the way off. And there's that, and then just set that safely aside, and then that just goes back on the same way. Really just push it on there. Okay, next thing we're going to do is there's two Phillips head screws. One's in there and one's in there. And we're going to go ahead and remove those. So, okay, this one is done, but it's kind of hanging up in there. So I've got one of these. If you don't have, when you go ahead and you remove the panel, it will go ahead and pop off. But I'm just going to go ahead and grab it right now with that right there, and then set that safely aside. And now I'm going to go ahead and remove this top screw right here. And now we got that one. That's two screws right there. And so that's off. Next we're going to do is I'm going to get a close-up shot right here, but there's a little panel right here that's, call it a panel, that's hiding a screw that we need to get to back in. Okay, if you look right there, you can see that there's a little panel, and right behind this panel there's a screw. So I'm going to go ahead and get in there gently and just pry that open, and then the screw's right behind that, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to loosen that screw. If you look right there, the little panel, the protector, the cover, it's kind of like a cosmetic cover, is gone, and then you can see the Phillips head screwdriver. We're going to go ahead and remove that before we move this trim piece right here. Okay, now that we have access to the screw, we're just going to use a Phillips head screwdriver and remove that screw. Okay, now the screw's loose, so we're going to go ahead and remove it, set it safely aside, and now we're going to go ahead and move this piece of trim. You can use it with a screwdriver or whatever, but all you're going to do here is you're going to gently get a trim tool underneath here, or you can use a screwdriver, and you're just going to gently pry up. Now get your finger back behind there so it doesn't come back off, and then you're going to come down here and do it on this bottom right here as well. Okay, there's that. It's coming loose right now, and then I'm going to pull this out right here, this left handle, and then just gently take it off, and I'm going to set this aside. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove this here, and so I'm going to try to not block my head. You can almost remove this with your fingers, but you're just going to get a little trim tool back there or a screwdriver, and you see how easily that popped off right there. And so you need to remove this so that you can lift up on the. Okay, YouTubers, I had to shoot this scene again. I shot it with the tripod, and I didn't even get the little plastic screw in there. But if you look right here, there's a plastic screw, and all you're going to do is you're going to put a screwdriver in there, you're going to turn it, and then it's going to pop right out. And so anyways, I'm going to switch hands, hold the camera hopefully as steady as I can, and then this will pop right out. So okay, we're going to remove the door panel now. The best place it seems to get in is right here in the middle. It gives the most right there. I'm going to be using a screwdriver and a pair of these pliers. You can use a screwdriver. If you're going to use the screwdriver, what you're going to do is you're just going to get in there and put the screwdriver in there, and you're just going to gently pry, and then you're going to want to do one of the I don't know what they're called, but I'll show them to you. They're little panel thingies. And but anyways, I'm going to go in right now through the side. Okay, I've gone ahead and put a piece of tape on the end of the screwdriver, and I'm going to go ahead, and the best place to seem to go in right here that gives the most is right there. I'm going to use these panel pliers, but that's what I'm calling them. And then we're going to go in right here and pry that away. Okay, I've got a little bit of hole, so I'm going to pry out just a little bit, and then I'm going to stick these panel guys in here. And now that I got them in, I'm just going to push on them and pry it out. You could do that with the screwdriver. Just get it in there a little bit further and then gently pry out. But I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little push. Okay, there's one that's gone. I'm going to come up here. And I'm going to come down below. And I'll walk it all the way around. As you're doing it, look inside and make sure you're not hitting the little, I'm going to call it a grommet, but they're the little things that stick in there. You kind of want to work your way around them. And then walk it all the way back to the back here. And then there's a couple on the side here. And I got all those right there. Now all you're gonna do, be careful here. There might be different vehicles that have a, I've got a 2001. This series goes through 2005, the second generation. If you have a little light down here, be careful that if there's an electrical connector, you just kind of lift off slowly and make sure that you unhook that. So now that we've got this done, we've got it all the way done around, you can see that. And now you're just going to do what you're just going to lift up. And there's that. And just so you can see, right there, those are the little grommets that we're talking about. I'm sure there's their name for them, but anyways, they go all the way around. And when we put this back in, these little tabs right here, they just hang over this portion of the door right here, and it just gently sits down. These sit over that, and then you line up all these grommets before you start pushing them in. Okay, to get to the, we're gonna loosen 2 screws over here on this side, but then to pull it out, we're gonna have to go in here through the weather barrier. And so if you got super cold weather, you might wanna take a heat gun or a hair dryer and go ahead and heat. I don't know if you can see it along here, but there's a black line, and what that is that sticky stuff, and that helps the weather barrier, this plastic, connect to the door. So it's just held by this sticky stuff. So what we're going to do, it's kind of warm today, so we're just going to gently pull this away. We just need to get access to this tiny little area. If you have a shirt that you don't want to get dirty, I don't want to take this and fold it over and then risk it be like saran wrap where it gets all kind of messed up. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just pull it away gently. And don't pull it any further than you need to. That's all. I'm going to do it right there, and then I'm going to risk getting my shirt dirty. But this is a pain in the butt to put the whole thing on. So, but anyways, we've got access right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and move I'll show you a picture of it. I can't get the camera in there, but there's 2, I believe it's 10 millimeter bolts, and we're going to go ahead and loosen those right now. Before that, we're going to go ahead and also we're going to pop this guy up right here. This is a pin. The dealer wants to charge you like, if they charge you full price, it's like 12 bucks. But I think you can reuse them. I found mine at Toyota Tustin. I got them for like 3 bucks a piece. But I think you can go ahead and reuse them. So, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pop this guy out. I'm going to go ahead and loosen these bolts first, and then I'll pop that guy out. So. Okay, I've got a 3/8" ratchet, and I've got a 10 millimeter bolt, and they're right back here. You can get on them. An extension pushes you out too far unless you got a real mini extension. So here, anyways, you need a 10 millimeter bolt, and we're going to go ahead and break these 2 loose, but we're not going to completely remove them. And then I'm going to pop this pin out, and then you got to be real careful because you don't want the door. I'm parked on a little bit of a hill coming this way. You don't want the door to go flying that way because it can damage the door. So I've set it up so that the door is going to come towards me, and then I'm going to put something in the way so that it doesn't close while I'm switching out the door check strap. Okay, that one's loose. Okay, that one's loose too. And so now I'm going to pop this guy out, and then remove the bolts the rest of the way, and then I'll go ahead and reach in and pull the door rear. But these are aftermarket for the front, It's TRQ, and I'll go ahead and put a link in the description for these. I think I got them at Parts Geek, but I'll look at it. Okay, when you go ahead and install this, you want to note which way it is, because it is a little bit bent. I don't know if you can see that bend, but this would be the way it would be going, or it would be going this way. And so you need to know which way it bends, and it kind of has a little bend right here. Let me get down so the camera's got a little bend right there. And so if I look right here, I can see that it is bending towards me and not the other way outward. It's bending inward. So that's the way I'm going to go ahead and reinstall it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do real quick, I hope my knee's not in the way, the little pins right down here, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop that up. And like I said, I think you can go ahead and reuse those, but I'm going to go ahead and pop it up real quick before I take out the two 10mm bolts. And then we'll push this out through here, and then we'll put in the brand new one. And all we're doing is tapping very, very lightly. And then I'm going to go ahead and needle nose pliers and pull it on out. And okay, there's that. And now I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest, the 10mm bolts. And then, and just so you know, this piece on the rear comes with it, but I'll get a close-up here. Okay, if you look down in there, I'm going to try to go ahead and point with the other part. If you see the edge of the... Okay, there it is right there. If you see the edge of that, it doesn't have that black piece right there. We're not removing that black piece. We're just, this right here is just going to slide out through the back. So here's the new one, and it's just going to slide out, and then that's going to stay hooked to the door panel. Sorry, the camera's moving around. I like to use a tripod. But anyways, that's we just removed that pin so we can push that whole piece back through the door. Okay, so I'm going to remove these, the rest of these, the two 10mm bolts, and then we're going to go ahead and pop that back out. Okay, I have two bolts out right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and reach back in there and pull that guy out. And here it comes, Lord. And I'm going to grab the new one. And remember, you noted which way it goes. It curves to the left. So it curves to the left, so note which way it goes. And I'm going to go ahead and put that back in. And go ahead and hold on to the door. But anyways, I'm just going to go hold it with my left hand and find the hole down here and slide it back through. Okay, so I went and I had to grab, the door kept wanting to close on me, so I went and grabbed a chair and propped it up in front of the door. You might not be able to see it on the camera, but it's holding the door, so I can use both hands now. And so, anyways, we're going to get it so that it that the piece curves to the left. And now I'm going to go ahead and stick it on in there, and then I'm going to have to put the bolts on it. So, anyways, I'll slide her on in there, and you just got to feel around for the hole. I'm using my left hand to like kind of push it towards me. Okay, now that I've got it in there, I'm going to go ahead and take the bolts, and there's two of them, and I'm going to go ahead and try to line them up. And I might have to move the door a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and put the bolts back in. Okay, I got the two bolts started. I'm going to go ahead and use a 10mm socket to finish. Okay, I'm tightening down these bolts. One thing I learned is that you don't have to, once you get the bolt started, then go ahead and put this little piece, line up the holes here with the piece that stayed on the door. go ahead and line that up. But you can go ahead and until you get both bolts started. Get one started and then get the other started, and then but leave them loose. In other words, so you have some wiggle room. And then once you get both bolts started, then go ahead and line it up in there, the holes, and that you're going to put your pin back in. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and finish tightening up these bolts, and then I'll show you how to put the pin back in. Okay, I don't know if I want to say I got the bolts completely tight. They just would not tighten, but I feel that they're tight enough. If you want, maybe you can put some of that lock thread stuff on there. But anyways, I feel that they're tight enough. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and re-enter this pin. And so I got to go ahead and line up the holes here. So go ahead and put it on the top, and then you can kind of wait for it to fall through. And there it goes right there. It's falling through. And then go ahead and take your hammer and there it is. It's back in the thing. So now we're done with this portion. Now we got to put everything else back together. So I'm going to go ahead and take the weather stripping here, and I'm going to put it back up on top, and we're going to line that up. And that's done. Now we're going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and grab the door panel, and we'll put it back on. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put the door panel back on. Real quick, here's the hole where the plastic screw is. And then you want to check to make sure none of these, let's call them grommets, are still hanging inside the door here. So there should be 7 of them, and just make sure that they're all back in the door. So when we go put this in, it'll go in correctly. So anyways, going to go ahead and grab the door panel, and we're going to bring it up here on the top. I think I showed you this before, but if not, there's little plastic things right here, and I don't know if you can see them, I hope so, but they're right here, and they hang on this portion right here. So anyways, I'm going to bring this here. I'm going to kind of get this on top, and then I'm going to pull the electrical through after I do that. So, but I'm going to go ahead and drop this down. Watch your speaker here. Come underneath the speaker, and then go ahead and drop it down, and then reach through and get your electrical connectors. And then once you've got your electrical connectors there, then go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and just give her a little pop in, and then I'm going to walk her around. And then go ahead and fill and make sure there's no gap. And that went in fairly easy. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the screws and the rest of the trim back up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the screws back in and the pieces of trim back in. So it doesn't really matter what order you do. I like to use the screws first so that I know it's attached on there, and then I put the window, door lock, and then the final piece of trim. But it really doesn't matter which way you use it. I'm going to go ahead and grab these 2 screws. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the screws back in, these 2 screws, and then we'll put that piece of trim back on. Okay, I've got those 2 screws. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this piece of trim back on. And the way you do that is just set it up on top up here, snap it in, and then walk it down. And there's that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put this piece of trim on back here. there is a little bit of a, like a, I'm not sure what to call it, but it's got a little, and it connects on, and then you push this forward. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this door handle out. I'm going to go ahead and turn this sideways, and then try to get it to like latch on there. And there's that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the screw back on. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the screw back on. Just snug it up. It doesn't have to be super tight. Then take the little trim piece, remember that we used the screwdriver to pull it up, and just set that in there. Okay, now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to grab the this door trim piece, and we'll go ahead and this goes on. It came off real easy. It's going to go on real easy too. And there's that piece right there. Okay, I'm going to do the plastic screw. And you just turn it until it falls in, and then give it a little turn to the right, and that's fine. It's really, you're not snugging it up or anything like that. It's just a clip that holds it. And then last, we're going to go ahead and do our window switch and our lock switch. And I'll go ahead and pull the electrical out here. You got to figure out which one goes to which. It's pretty obvious. This is one right here is the longer one, and this is a shorter, stubbier one right here. So you'll figure it out. That they can only go on one. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that in there, right there, and you can hear it click. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna flip this guy around and stick it in there. I'll show you right there. Stick it in there, and then you should hear it click. And there it goes. Back here, there is a little bit of a, let's call it a lip, and you stick that underneath there, like that, and then kind of push it down, and then all you do is just push down on this. And there you got it. So we're all done here. If that helped you out, if it saved you some money, please like and subscribe, and we can save some people. Dealers are charging $140 an hour right now. And so I got these straps aftermarket, and the front door check straps aftermarket. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description. And sadly, you can't find the rear ones, but the front ones you can find aftermarket. They were about 26 bucks a piece. So at the time of making this video. So anyways, hey, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.